Everybody, this is Vicki from Messy Table Studio here with some corrections to the video that posted today that I worked on over, let's see, Sunday and Monday. I edited yesterday and uploaded it. No, I edited Monday and uploaded it for 12:15 this morning, and I cut out a part that I wanted you guys to see, and then I want to correct something about patterns. So let's get started. This, if you remember, was the book that I was showing you, the binder I was showing you guys. And Premiere has free patterns on their yarn site. So I thought that a lot of these were crochet. They are knit. This is knit. This is knit. I think this one is also knitting. I'm looking at needles. This is also knitting. They give you a choice between knit and crochet patterns. This one is crochet. I think this is one of the only ones I printed off that is crochet, and I did refer to this as the same pattern as the knit shawls. It is not. This is something different, but it's the same concept. It's still a triangle shawl. This is knit, and this is knit. They're basically the same pattern, just different yarns. This is knit. So I just wanted to clarify that because after I watched my video this morning again, it was horribly confusing, so I wanted to clear that up. I don't usually print off a lot of crochet stuff because I am not an avid crocheter. I dabble. Dabble's a good word. And then in the video I said, all right, let me show you what I'm working on today. No, it got cut out because I looked at the part where it had something in there I didn't want in there. I decided later not to put it in there, and it cut out the part where I showed you I was working on. So this is what I've been working on. This is called the Mindless Shawl. It's a lace-ish shawl by Yarn Treats, and it calls for, let me put this here, calls for, see, I don't want this on camera because I think it's a paid-for pattern. Size 5, 3.75 millimeter, 40-inch circulars. And where's the yarn? The yarn calls for 800 milligrams per 100 grams, which is a lace weight. And then the colorway is called Steve and Andy, which kind of is a greenish, brownish color. I don't know if the color will come across in your video as it does in mine, but it's kind of a greenish, grayish sort of yarn. It's very, I really love it, and the pattern really is mindless. So here it is. I'm almost finished with it. I'm so excited. I knit this with 100% alpaca from Windswept Farms. I don't know if they're still in business anymore or not because I've had this yarn for about, oh, I hate to say this, I think I've had it about 15 years. I did not mean to hang on to it that long, but I have. All right, so this is, I'm flipping it around so I can put it on there without losing my stitches. This is the part of the lace portion. This is the top of the shawl here, as you can see. And then I've made some mistakes, but since this is for me, I don't really care. I missed some yarn overs. Let's see there, and I missed one. There's like two of them that are very close to each other here, and one on this side, and then, well, that one's, I think there's one that's missing right here. Nevertheless, it does not take away from how wonderful the pattern is. I am on the, what do you call it? Trim? I'm not sure. So after you knit the basic part of the shawl, you bind off. Then you cast on to make the edging, which is the opposite direction you knit everything else. You knit everything else this way. This is knit this way. So it's only 17 stitches. It needs to be blocked, so I'm sorry, it's very squishy. It's 100% alpaca, and it is fabulous. So you just knit this back and forth, in every stitch along here. It takes forever. So I've met the halfway point, which is this. I'm hoping blocking will take out this pucker right here. I'm not sure it will. I might have to learn to live with it. And I'm not ripping it out to fix it because that means I would have to rip out all the edging, and I've spent 3 days working on it, so that ain't happening. So I'm down to the last, see the pucker is the halfway point, and evidently my stitch count was a little bit off because I think this should line up with the stitches from the back. So I think I'm like 1 stitch off of having it centered. Nah. So I have all these stitches left to finish it off, and the shawl will be finished. Then it has to be washed and it has to be blocked. And so far, this is it without being blocked. So I think this might be the kind of shawl that I've been looking for. Now I had, let me get the skein that I did all this from. Okay, so this is what I started with. I had 3 of these from Windswept Farms, and it's called Windswept Farm Fiber Mill, and this is Windswept Farm Knitter's Choice, alpaca, wool, and blended fibers. So let's see. This is 100% alpaca, and it says it on there that it's 100%. Alpaca, the color is white, but the part I like the best, there's no dye lot name, but there is a name of the alpaca, Palin. I thought that was very cute. So Palin is the name of the alpaca who graciously made this possible. And it's 2-ply, and it's 400 yards. Okay, so I've already used up 1. Here is the second one, and this is the skein of last resort. I'm praying that I don't have to cake this up just to finish off the last, whatever this is right here. I don't know. It's a lot of stitches still. And then I got to do 17 stitches this way out of every one of these. So it's going to take me a little bit, maybe maybe half a day today to finish it if I don't do anything else, which, yeah. So this is the second skein. That means I will have used 800 yards. And this says hand wash only. 800 yards of this. That's a lot of yarn. But this is a 2-ply lace. Now, if I used a regular one yarn that's not 2-plied, it's just a single strand, it would look more webby, and it wouldn't, I don't think it would be quite as squishy and fabulous as this is. And let me tell you about something that made me unhappy. And it's not the pattern. It's nothing to do with that. I like Addi Turbos, and I've been using them for like a million years. But I don't always like these. The tip is too rounded. Well, these are a little sharper than some of the others, but I really rather have sharper pointed needles when I do lace so I can pick at it. And it's easier to pick up stuff that way. When you have a rounded edge, it's fine for 4-ply, but I think you need something a little bit better for lace and fingering weight. Sometimes you need something a little more pointy for when you're trying to fix a split. All right. So I started out with the Addi Turbo lace. Now these, and I can't, these are brass coated tips. That's what they call these tips because there's a cord in the middle. So it was a 32-inch, no. Yeah, 32-inch. I started out with 24s, which is what I am now. And then I went to 32s because it just grew. It got really big, and I needed more space so I could see my errors. So I switched over to this. I won't ever do that again on a white or very light colored yarn because I don't know if you can see it. I can see it, but I don't know if you guys can. It left the brass. The coating on the brass is starting to wear off, and it has left a dark mark on my yarn through here where it was on the brass needles, and I'm really afraid that that is stained permanently. I don't know until after I use wool wash to see if I can get it out of there. So I will not be using these on white, beige, egg, yellow, light greens, anything light. I'll use it on black, dark blue, gray. That's fine, because it rubs off on those, you won't be able to tell. But anything light, no. So I ordered a pair of Chow that are silver, like these Chow red lace needles, to replace the 32-inch here, so that I can have a 32-inch with these needles. That what I think, what are they called? Stainless steel. It says they're brass tips, but I don't think so. It says metric size stamped on cord, yarn slides easily, turbo finish brass tips. All right, so they put a finish over brass. These, they only sealed the brass. These are brass, and they only sealed them. They were always this color, but the brass, I think I've used these for so many years now that the coating that coats the brass on them is starting to come off, and brass will tarnish certain things, and it tarnished my alpaca yarn, which does not make me very happy. All right, so that's that. So I'm waiting for my new needles to come because I want to knit another one of these. It'll be in a darker color, but look at that. See, I wished I'd lined it up better. There's that pucker right there. See how it's not lined up? I didn't count my stitches. You know, at a certain point, I just quit counting them because there's hundreds and hundreds of stitches on this. It said to start doing this section, the edge, the edging, when you have 377 stitches. Well, I'm retired, but I'm not counting 377 stitches just to put on an edging, and now I see why you should have counted, because it's a little off. Which, for me, I'll be sitting with it on my back, and who's going to see that? No one, except for my lovely recliner. That's it. So here it is, the mindless shawl. I do love the lace portion. I love this. So I'm going to knit this again. Yeah, I'm going to knit it with a single ply lace, and then I might knit it again with fingering, which means I'm going to need way more than 800 yards of this. Fingering, you get 100 grams and about 437 yards. I don't think that 2 skeins of fingering yarn will cover all of this, because it tells you in the pattern you need to save 1/3 of your yardage just to do this. And I'm using a size 5, a US 5, 3.75 millimeter needle. If, I don't know, I'm not really sure, but I think I need more than 3 skeins. So I went to Knit Picks yesterday and tooled around on the site and found 3 skeins of a white lace yarn that I could use. That's 100%, I think it's 100% cotton, and then it could be dyed. But I'm not really sure, should I dye the skein first, or should I do the shawl and then dye the shawl last? I haven't dyed yarn since, I don't know, since we lived in Virginia Beach, which was 8 years ago. And probably 5 years before that. So it's been a long time since I've dyed yarn. And I've never dyed alpaca. So this will be a new experience for me. Anyway, so I wanted to correct things that were wrong in the video yesterday, or today, this morning. I will upload this right after I film it so that there will be an addendum to the other one. So thanks for coming by, and I appreciate you watching the videos. I really do. And I know I usually do books and jelly plates and dyeing paper and that kind of stuff, but I'm taking a little break from that till I get this knitting thing out of my system. Maybe. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.